Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever sat around and just think about all the things you've had in your collection or the good deals that you passed up on for one reason or another? But you decided to sell it or you just didn't pick it up at all. And that's what I want to talk about in today's episode. My personal collecting regrets. Roll that intro. So just like the thumbnail says, today I want to talk about a couple of my personal collecting regrets. If the video does well, I'll make another one in the future. So let's talk about a couple of mine. So a couple of years ago, I went to some yard sales around town. I came to one that didn't have very much, but I always asked, hey, do you have any video games for sale? Like you're always supposed to do. You never know what somebody has. So anyways, he paused for a minute and he said, hold on, I might have something, and he went to go get it. He came out with a box for an old microwave that he had bought, and there was a ton of old DVDs and CDs in it. As I dug around, I pulled out a couple sports titles for the Xbox 360, so I got a little excited because I figured there might be some more games. I saw a rubber band wrapped around 10 copies of NCAA Football 2014. I saw the retail sticker and they were all sealed that said $3 on clearance. As I was looking at the back of them, he came up and said, I'll take $1 a piece on those if you want all of them. As I looked at them, I kind of just said, hey, I'm not interested. I didn't want 10 sports games that were 3 or 4 years old. So I passed on them. And I got into my car and went on to the next yard sale. So fast forward to 2020. I'm watching a YouTube video about a guy who just goes around and buys retro video games at yard sales. And he picks up an Xbox 360 lot with a couple games. And one of the games was NCAA Football 2014. Then he proceeds to show that he sold the game for $110 on eBay. Like one day later. I started to think back, wait, I just passed on those a couple years back for $1 a piece. That still bugs me to this day. I was beyond pissed. If I could go back, I would have just bought them all. But you never know what things are going to go for. You never know how things are going to happen. If I knew it was going to skyrocket in value, I definitely would have picked them up. Another time is when I went to a local game store and I found a couple rare games for the NES. I took my time and looked around until I had a handful of games that I was going to buy. As I went to the counter and got my total, when I reached for my wallet, it wasn't in my pants pocket. So I had to tell the guy I would be right back so I could go and get my wallet and come back to get these games. Well, when I was driving, I noticed my car started sputtering and sounding weird. So long story short, my car broke down on the way home and I had to walk the rest of the way. When I arrived, my feet were killing me. So I took a minute to chill on the couch before I attempted to go back. Well, of course, I ended up falling asleep on the couch and sleeping through the night. When I woke up and remembered that I was supposed to go get the games, I had to get a ride back to the game store. But the guy told me I didn't come back before they closed, so he just went ahead and put them on the shelf. And guess what? As soon as he put them on the shelf, they sold immediately. And needless to say, I was pissed because 2 of the rare games that was in those, ironically, was Kid Clown and Casino Kid 2, which they aren't the greatest games, but they were only asking $4.99 a piece for them. So yeah, that's another huge collecting regret for me. I should have just came back immediately because the prices for those games now are insanely high. And unfortunately, I still actually need Kid Clown to complete my licensed NES set. So there you go. Another epic fail on my part. Okay, before I end the video, I'll talk about one more. This one's a doozy. Back in 1999, I was in high school. And most of the time, if I wasn't in school or working, I was playing old video games. Kind of like now, but I'm just a lot older. I had a nice size NES collection that I had gotten from a relative who didn't use them anymore. When I say all the games in the collection were good, is an understatement. I'm talking no filler titles here. The only games they had were all good titles. Castlevania, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Mario Bros. 3, Double Dragon, Final Fantasy, Contra, the list goes on and on. All the favorites. Then a day I'll never forget, 9/9/99, the Dreamcast launch day. I wasn't going to miss it for the world. I was waiting in line at Electronic Boutique to purchase it. After literally selling the entire NES collection, all the games, I only had to throw in $25 to get the Dreamcast and 2 games. Now, trust me, I love my Dreamcast to death. It was one of my favorite systems. But those NES games have gotten insanely hard to find, and the value has nearly tripled for them. As for the Dreamcast and the 2 games, I mean, I love them, but looking back, it wasn't the wisest decision to sell my NES collection. If I would have known that the prices were going to be the way they are now, I would have never gotten rid of them. Well, you win some, you lose some, I guess. Well, those are just a couple examples of my epic fails in collecting. So, if you have any, put them out in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep it retro.
Can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage. The cream of the crop! The cream of the crop! The cream of the crop! The cream of the crop!